All right, we can just loop all this together because it's basically actually. Let's do this first. The NFL guys have been making plays. Miles Price had a huge punt return for the Vikings. Key Williams has been doing really good things at Steelers camp. I know CJ West missed last game with a knee injury, but they really like what he's doing out in the Bay Area. And so it's cool to see those guys doing well, to be performing, to put themselves in a position to make an NFL roster. Like somebody like Miles Price is working his ass off. He's wearing number 31 at receiver, making plays.
Yeah, no, looking back, we're going to look back at how loaded the 2024 Indiana Hoosiers receiving core was. We give a shout out to Jamie Jordan, IU reactionary / Hoosier Huddle here. He tweeted this out, kind of the same sentiment that I'm saying. I mean, we're talking Surratt and Coop that are probably going to be NFL draft picks this upcoming year. If Coop next year, if not the year after. Got Price and Keyshawn Williams making plays in the preseason, likely to make a roster, at least in Miles Price's case, from what I'm hearing over there in Minneapolis. And then you got Myles Cross, who, you can't tell me Myles Cross can't play in the XFL. And that's your fifth guy, a guy with, 1,600 career receiving yards. That was their fifth guy. Yeah, I mean, a very special group, and it makes you kind of think, like, do we have that same firepower this year? Like, because we talked about how we're expecting the receivers to be, like, all position groups upgraded, right? And how that looks is that Surratt and Coop were the two alpha betas were the alpha and the beta in that room last year. They're both back. So I'm expecting them to be better. So the 1 and the 2 are already better just based on last year. So it really just comes down to EJ, Mekhi Jackson, and Johnny Brady. And then we're also hearing a little bit LeBron Bond is getting a lot of tick. And then when you consider the fact that Stays is probably a better receiver than Horton was last year, and we love 44, love Horton, but Stays seems like he's more of a receiving
Evan Ingram-esque, like.
Yeah, I'm not going to call him that, but Ingram.
No, I'm not going to say he's going
to be that. He's going to be that role. I'm thinking more Gesicki for Holden Stays. Okay, but that's just my eye test, right?
Gesicki was big though, wasn't he?
Gesicki was a freak. Gesicki ran
big as hell.
Well, yeah, he was like 6'5". He's about the same size as Stays. I don't see
that big.
Yeah, but I don't. Stays is fast for his size, but he's not like Gesicki. I think Gesicki ran like a 4.5. Like Gesicki ran like a stupid 40 in his combine. It was ridiculous. Jay Wizzle, can you pull Gesicki's 40 time for me? Thank you.
Hey chat.
No, I know exactly who can tell me this.
I think. Wizzle. Yeah, I guess you're right, because you would have to assume it. At least at baseline, Surratt and Cooper, if not better, exactly the same. So then it's like, like EJ Williams is somebody who Signetti spoke about today, because we're not going to go presser for presser, because last week was just like, it was too much. He said this and then this, and so we're not doing that this week.
Much good stuff.
But Signetti was talking about EJ as somebody who's made a ton of progress during camp, so we're hearing that. Jonathan Brady is somebody who hasn't been mentioned a ton, but already has that chemistry with Fernando Mendoza. I can't imagine he was coming to Indiana if he wasn't going to at least get some snaps and get a chance to get the ball. You also have the freshman LeBron Bond, who's getting a ton of praise. You have Davion Chandler, who's going to play his way into game shape. Obviously, he wasn't there in the spring. You have Miles Kendrick, who they're not talking about much, who's obviously still in the room. Charlie Becker is not a name we've heard yet, but somebody who me and you really like, who we think can make an impact.
I mean, we were going in, gunner,
we were going into last year. Yeah. Well, I was going to say, we were going into last year being like the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And this year it might be the other way around, but at the same time, like, we could be looking at this team in week 6, week 7, being like, how do we even get all these guys on the field?
Yeah, I don't, just based on the fact that it really was like 5 wide receivers last year. Like, yeah, if we're gonna project production, I'm anticipating the receiving yards gets an uplift, right? So if I'm just projecting just stat lines, right? Surratt finished the year at about 53,900, 8 tuds. That probably goes up to about, right, like 70, 1,110 touchdowns from Surratt.
Surratt came back to school to break 1,000 yards. That was one of the main reasons why he came back. So I would be pretty shocked if he didn't get there.
I can see Coop with a sexy, 40 catches, 700 yards, and 8 touchdowns on his own.
Don't step on my bold predictions. Don't step on my hot.
All right. I'm just trying to project. I'm just really just
I got you. I
Not
got
even
you.
being super bullish here on like production, but all of a sudden, top two guys combined for 1,800 and 18 tutties, right? Just based on just upticking their last year numbers just by a smidge, right? And then, then we got EJ, Mekhi Jackson, and Brady kind of filling in that Price, Keyshawn Williams, and Myles Cross production. And, that's about 1,000+ yards right there combined. Those three combined for 12 touchdowns and roughly 1,200 yards combined. So you get
Don't
that
forget.
from those three.
Well, I was gonna say, and then you're not even talking about Becker, who John saying Alberto was talking. There was an Alberto Mendoza podcast. I don't remember the name of it, but apparently it was really good. I saw it tweeted out today a couple of different times. But apparently John saying he was talking up Becker. Becker and Bond are two guys we like that we've been hearing that you're not even talking about taking on some of that production, plus two of the tight ends, plus the receiving capabilities of the running backs.
I mean, it was tough for EJ and Donovan McCulley and Anderson Kobe even to get tick at that receiving position last year. So I imagine it's going to be the same thing. Like Charlie Becker is going to be a great contributor to this team, whether he's playing offense or if he's going to strictly be a gunner on the team, because that's how he was able to get on the field last year, is that he beat out everyone for that gunner spot and earned it. It wasn't just like, oh, we're going to burn this red shirt for no reason. Like, no, he was the team's best gunner. Like there's value to that in terms of his future career projection as a receiver, as I've said before, using many examples of players I've seen over the years fit into their team at first as a special team ace, and then eventually later in their career, junior, senior, become more of that offensive defensive weapon with the ones and twos.
John says we need more footballs. I couldn't agree more.
We need more footballs. No, for real.
For this team, we really do.
That, last year we described Curtis Rourke as a machine that took snap footballs and turned them into touchdowns. And we think Mendoza is going to be better than that. So, maybe there are going to be more footballs, right? Like,
let's do what happened. Let's do a little history lesson here, Brad. You remember what happened during the Industrial Revolution?
I was asleep during class.
I was just gonna say, very big picture. They started off with some technology, and then it got better and better and better and better and better. And so Curt Cignetti, Indiana quarterback version 1, is Curtis Rourke, who is 9th in the Heisman despite missing a game, playing on a torn ACL and a busted thumb, showing the most dog I've ever seen, even before knowing about the torn ACL. And now version 2 is somebody who's just as sharp, if not sharper, in terms of mental process, who's a better athlete with an absolute cannon. And Stu's built in a lab. Like, what is this version? If he can just execute the offense, like, you kidding me? Hell yeah, I love textile production. What a pod. You're not getting that anywhere else. Where else you get an Industrial Revolution talk? And it can.
I think we need more football talk. I think John meant to say we need more football talk is what we were actually looking for.